Kenneth McAlister started actually farming in 1986, but I grew up on the farm working with my grandfathers and my dad. And when I graduated high school, got married and worked for my dad on the farm and helped the neighbors, whatever I could do. And we just kind of started from there in 1985 and 86, picking up some land and growing. And it got a little more expensive. And of course, the thing of it is then when you really make a big change, like we did in 2005, we took on a bunch more land and my boys all got involved. Actually, we increased our acres. We tripled our acres in a matter of a year and a half. We went from farming like 3,000 acres to 9,000 in a year and a half. And so we had to make major equipment changes, and watching the neighbors and just listening and learning and some practices we had already done in our tillage operation, we just decided it was time to step in and go no-till. So we went to the self-propelled sprayer and started learning a little bit more about cover crops, started learning a little bit more about leaving the residue standing. And that's the reason why we went to the stripper heads on the combines and left that tall stubble standing. We went to planting cover crops and trying to hold moisture, trying to hold soil together, trying to keep sun and wind erosion from hitting that soil. And it was just amazing to see the first few fields that we no-tilled, what water quality was different. You know, when you drive by your neighbor's field and it coming a flood and the water's running out of his field and it's brown, and you look across the road at yours and it's pretty and clear. You know, it's like, okay, what's the difference here? And it did take long to figure it out after that.
14,800 acres is what we were farming. Wheat, cotton, grain sorghum, sesame, canola, anything that will make money.
And we implement the livestock into our operation a lot now on a lot of our grazing ground or our wheat ground. We're not as big a wheat farmers as we used to be. I mean, it's still one of our major crops, but our big crop now is cotton. Basically due to the fact with the soil health that we've got and the way we're able to store moisture, and with technology and seed, we're able to grow some cotton and make some pretty good money. I mean, we had started planting wheat years ago on our cotton ground to cover it so it didn't blow, or we had actually got to where we was planting a few oats when we could get them. And we noticed that was a change. And what we were doing is bare ground, when we was always planting a cover crop on it so we could hold it in the spring so it didn't blow. You know, we got to keep what we can keep moisture-wise in there, and I think we're all in that boat. I never get farming with a chisel plow. You worked your butt off all year round, and you come home, do paperwork, last between Christmas and New Year, and catch up on all the paperwork. Now it seems like we do paperwork all the time and work for a week spraying or getting stuff planted, and then spend another week working on paperwork. And that is aggravating because I don't like doing paperwork. But the benefits is the biggest benefit is about no-till farming is I get to spend a lot more time with my family. As the size of operation grew, like I say, we was going to make purchases on equipment. So the purchase is, do you buy till equipment and hire labor? Or do you buy equipment and go spray and keep what you got? So we saved a big chunk of money on labor. Not only did we save money on labor, we saved quite a bit of money on fuel, because, you know, it takes a lot of money on fuel just to run them tractors. You know, in our case, we was going to have, we was figuring 4 big 4-wheel drive tractors and 4 big plows. So that was 4 guys driving it. One guy just going to have to run around keeping the tires aired up or fixed and the bearings on. You got a full-time job doing that. And so we were looking at it. I can take it one sprayer and do what them 4 tractors can do. It was beneficial because of time saving on, I guess, our health, because I stress about a lot of things, but I think if I had a bunch of chisel plows running up and down the road, moving them, and knotheads not knowing what to do or how to take care of stuff, which that is getting harder to do, I think I'd be stressed a little bit more. But the benefits to me has been really a blessing, because I remember the days when I grew up as a kid and what I had to do after a big tragic rain so we could go plant a crop. And since we've been no-tilling, I have not fixed any breaks. I've had not go fix a bunch of washes. The health of this soil just, it's unbelievable. One agronomist told us a story that I never thought nothing about. He said, so you're grazing cattle on top, and he said, so you got one cow grazing on an acre. He said, you got 30,000 species in the soil that's grazing underneath. So you've got to keep that going. That's what keeps that soil moving. You know, I didn't realize what benefit worms really was to us. There's cost and challenges involved, but it's well worth every moment of it. And I think we go back to, as we said it earlier, family. It's a blessing to do. I enjoy it. You can't just think about tomorrow. And you can't think about next week. You can't think about the end of the year. You got to think about a couple years out. You got to be planning for more than 1 year. Listen to a lot of folks. You don't have to always take their advice, but at least listen, because they may have some little key point that might help you change what you need to do. Just because they're younger, don't feel like they're trying to run over you. They're just trying to help you because they understand that technology a little bit younger. Just because you're old don't mean you can't do it. You just got to get your feet wet different, and it works. It will work.